Greetings from downtown Salt Lake City, Utah. Today is Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. It is 10:09 a.m. Mountain Time and 75 degrees. So I was trying to think about what video I was going to do today, and I was looking at options. I was thinking I was going to do maybe a bike trail, but then the weather is supposed to possibly rain near 2 o'clock p.m. and the place I wanted to go was going to take a while to get there. So I was like, I don't know if I want to get too wet. So I jumped on the train and was still not sure where I was going, but then I got the idea, like, maybe I can feature some of the artwork that is in the downtown Salt Lake City area, because I haven't done a video that just focuses on the artwork. I've kind of did that in Ogden, but not downtown Salt Lake. So right now we are at the North Temple Frontrunner Station. I got dropped off here, was doing a little bit more research, and then just got ready to start the video. So what we're going to do is head over to the Gateway District, and I have a map on my phone with a bunch of like pinpoints on Google Maps of where some of these murals are kind of located, either murals, artwork, or sculptures. This first one is outside of the Hardware Apartments, and this particular mural is called Atlas. The app I downloaded that talks about all these artworks, I'm going to try to reference it as much as possible. A lot of them have descriptions, but this one doesn't quite have background information on it. It does say that the mural is said to be the largest in Utah, stretching several stories and clocking in at about 60 feet. So when I first saw it in the app, I was like, I've seen that one over and over again. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Every time I take the Frontrunner train, I always see it standing right there. So today I do have my bicycle with me. It's going to be a hybrid biking and getting off and walking video. So I'm going to occasionally attach this chest camera to my chest mount, and then I'll unscrew it once I get to a certain mural so I can show it off. Okay, so like I said earlier, we're going to try to go over to the Gateway first, because the app online that talked about all the various murals, the app was called like the blocks, but it's sectioned off the downtown area into several districts, like the west side, the east side, central district, and then the Gateway. So the Gateway is going to be the easiest one for me to go through, because I know it's confined in one space. And for reference, if you haven't seen this video before, this area before, this is leaving the North Temple Station. If you take that escalator upward, you get to the green Trax line train, which you can take that to then ride further into downtown Salt Lake City. Otherwise, you can take this little trail underneath the bridge and go over to the Gateway on the left. This portion of the trail, which goes toward the west, is the Folsom Trail, which I actually want to get off here. I thought there would be a spot for me to wheel downward. Maybe not so. But yeah, this is a new trail that I featured in one of my videos back in July. So feel free to check that video out. I did a lot of exploring in the Salt Lake area for that video. But we want to head over to the Gateway District. I see over there, if I would have gone a little bit further, there was a drop off. Hopefully the gateway is open. I know there's certain days where they kind of block it off for deliveries. Yep, looks like it's open today. This is always a cool spot. Not necessarily artwork related, but it is interesting that it seems like they're doing construction over there up on the gateway. So you can see the stairs are blocked off here. And that looks like some of it's being reconstructed. But this is often a very nice spot to have certain events. Over here you have one of the Olympic statues, Go for the Gold. But now let's go ahead and try to find the artwork. And I'm going to take this off my chest for now. So this will be a scavenger hunt of sorts where I'm trying to find the artwork and then you're trying to find it along with me. Let me get up on the street level here. Now, one of the things that I never noticed was, I don't know, because the sunlight's reflecting brightly off of it, but up there on the side of that building, like, it's got the white mountainous look with the black. So you can see the white mountains with the black. Let me see what that's called in the app. Alright, so they call this one the Gateway Mountains. The artist's name is Havoc. Studying the never-ending patterns that nature displays through water, mountains, strata, geodes, rock veins, etc., Havoc transcribes these patterns through a minimalist perspective. His work is intentionally meant not to scream for attention. Rather, it confidently exists to be noticed when the view is ready to be drawn in by intricate patterns displayed throughout. Yeah. Like I said, I've been here multiple times, and that's the first time I've actually noticed it in person. Now this next one, I feel like it's new, because I did notice it last time I walked through, and I hadn't seen it in the past, but it's a mural that's actually underneath. Let me zoom out there. A mural that goes underneath this entire walkway. Very intricate, because it spans the whole width. And let me get on the other side of this pillar so you can see the two hands embracing And in the background there, you can also see those pillars, how it has the previous artwork we were referring to. This one is titled Solidarity by artist David Flores. It says this vinyl installation was created by him. The installation is located on the underside of a sky bridge near the Olympic Fountain in the Gateway. This is the best shot of it when you get this perspective. And like I said, it does extend all the way over there. And then my apologies if the flow sometimes is slow, but like when I'm showing the artwork, while I'm doing that, I'm going through the app and trying to find the title, artist, and description. And you have to like sift through left and right because even though they're sectioned by like Gateway and West, East, Central, they're not exactly in order. So I say if there's 10 different murals in the place, I have to kind of scroll through several of them until I get to the one that I'm looking at. I'm trying to keep my head on a bit of a swivel because you never know when this artwork's gonna creep up. Now I'm seeing some of the art might actually be on the second level. Yeah, the sunlight's too far in this video to see it, so I'll probably try to head up there. I don't know if I can take a escalator. Well, not an escalator with the bicycle, but maybe an elevator. Let's look at the lower level murals that we can. We can see at the intersection here they have the colorful paint on all the cross sections. I just always assume that's related to, LGBT support, but it could just be colors in general. Right over here we have the Donovan Mitchell mural. It was meant for the Utah Jazz. But as I'll mention in a second as I pull up more descriptions, Donovan Mitchell was recently traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is my hometown. So that was kind of a unique thing to see one of the top Utah Jazz players dealt to my team. So the artwork was called the Donovan Mitchell Bridge. As part of the official sports and entertainment district of Salt Lake, the Gateway dedicated the pedestrian bridge to the Utah Jazz player Donovan Mitchell, who has endeared himself to our community. Sits along the path of Karl Malone and John Stockton Drive and serves as a bridge to those storied teams of Utah Jazz, past and exciting team we have today. And it goes on. The artist's name was Chuck Landvatter and Jared Smith. So unfortunately for Jazz fans, the mural is now showcasing a former player, and they're kind of in rebuilding mode. You can see here there's kind of a cool looking bike rack and some of the green bikes that you can rent out. Now underneath this bridge we also have another mural. This one was titled Geometry. Kind of looks like a big prism to me. Artist Felipe Pantone, a vinyl installation. Yeah, there's not much else besides the artist's name. Let's go ahead and keep looking. So what was that, like 4 of them I feel like we've covered? And we'll try to come across ones that we don't necessarily see in the app either. Like across the way there, there's a winged set of wings on the side of the building. I didn't see that in the thing, although I wouldn't know what to call that other than there's just a set of wings painted on the building. I know in the Clark Planetarium there's supposed to be a mural, but I'm not sure if it's on this side or a different side. Okay, yeah, this is the mural, but we're gonna have to go like across the street or something in order to see it. Maybe we can get a glimpse of it here. So it's called Two Faces. I believe it's by the same person that we just saw. So Two Faces on the outside of the Clark Planetarium. Although this says Two Faces Earth Artist Duron when I look at the app. Maybe that signage was for a different thing. Like I said earlier, hopefully the pace of this isn't too slow. Hopefully it's more of a interesting and calming approach to feel like you're exploring and finding the artwork and murals with me. Once we get inward to Salt Lake, there, not to say that these aren't creative. I love all the murals and such, but there's a lot more unique and creative ones also once you go inward to the downtown Salt Lake core. Alright, so here they are. I saw this on the thing, the rainbow steps, and I was thinking to myself, how have I not seen these before? So I guess when I've come by here, I've just overlook this. You've got the rainbow steps. I know in the description, let me try to find it again, it talked about, yeah, there was a rainbow vortex. Creates the illusion of being sucked into another dimension, which when you're here sort of feels like you have one of our favorite photo ops in the area. And then above it, you have Seagull Lily, artist Insa. Unique to the downtown landscape as it is interactive. If you download some type of GIF ITI viewer and use the app when looking at the mural, you'll see it come to life in person. Really, I did not know that. Unfortunately, this app, for some reason hyperlinks weren't working in it earlier, but that's something to try out if you're in the area. I really like the rainbow steps though. Now this hall pass place, this won't be in the app, but I've always found the little artwork painted on the side of this pretty cool. A guy there, probably like a worker because he's got the logo on with a skateboard. Underneath this bridge we have yet another mural. The one bad thing about this area is that music's constantly playing, and that's not a bad thing at all when you're walking through, but for my video purpose I know it's going to be like YouTube copyright. But this particular bridge is titled Topography, artist Brendan Moore, also known as The Blob. Yeah, some of these do have descriptions on them, encouraging you to look up and making sure you see the nice work of art. This was that cool area the one time I came by. Someone was playing music, like live music, and then that's when I noticed this Utah Jazz space suit holding the yellow smiley face balloon. I'm not sure if I'll go back to the second level to see those murals that were over there. Just because it might be a slight challenge to navigate up there with the bicycle. And also we do have a ton of artwork to see throughout the city. Oh, here's Wise Guys Live Comedy Club. I've been reading about Wise Guys, but I didn't know where it was located before. Let me try to park in the shade here. So you should recognize a lot of these artists. Featuring rock legends. The artist is Gina Riboto. This is Riboto's first Utah mural. Gina is a self-taught artist and started her own painting company 25 years ago. Each portrait is spontaneously developed, so none are alike. So you can see all the rock legends. Looks like that was commissioned in 2019. I'm not sure if this is a mural per se, but yeah, it counts as artwork. On the outside of Wise Guys, they have an old guy peeking behind the curtain. Let's see here. So I'm trying to think of what I missed. I can see something on the app I missed, Punch Bowl Social, and also something related to stairs. But I think other than that, we covered most of it. So I'm going to check out Google Maps and figure out the best strategic place to head to next. Alright, for our next one, we're going to backtrack slightly to 100 South Street. There's like 3 pieces of art in that little pocket. And once I capture that, I'll head back toward this area and start going further east into downtown Salt Lake. I think this is 100 South.
I guess you can still be there, but under what capacity? Fall special.
Looks like we've got construction up ahead, so I may need to turn to the other side of the street. You could see some graffiti art. I'm not sure if this is part of the artwork from the app that was being promoted, but it still looks pretty cool. I'm gonna check the map to see where we're at, because I feel like we're right at it almost. Yeah, because there's going to be 3 different artworks that are all almost right in a row to each other. This first one is at Fustal 801. So they say it's an ever-changing mural. It could have actually been that thing we just saw, because they said it does change very often. Let me peek over here. It's or either is or was an indoor soccer facility. I don't know if it still is. You can see the various, even over here, like the peace symbol. I think just up ahead is part of that Folsom Trail. Yeah, so I believe that first artwork we showed is the present day mural. If you look at the app online, the picture looks much different. So it's indeed true that it's an ever-changing mural. So isolated for long, because you can see they are building even more housing units the further west you go. I believe it's all part of the Gateway Apartments. So on this platform, I just noticed a sculpture, so I'm checking out what it says. I have seen this in the distance before, but I've never been up to it. Let's see if there's a sign that describes what it is. Yes, on this side it says Bright Star, Dark Star, Becoming as It Ends. Artist David Adams. So I guess probably plays into the Clark Planetarium a little bit. I noticed across the way there they also have embedded within the buildings, or embedded within the wall, kind of some sculpting of like the bobsledding, curling further down there, ice skating duos, and then skiing. I think what I'm going to do now is check out a statue that's at the Vivint Arena related to basketball, and then I'll recalibrate on my map because I know there's some things south of here that I can start hitting a bunch in a row. But let's go ahead and go over by the basketball arena, which is just to our left. There's 4 corners to this arena. The map kind of took me to the corner that's going to be over here. So fingers crossed that that's actually what it is. Otherwise I'll have to circle the whole arena. Looks like this is a loading dock of sorts. I don't know. Yes, this is indeed where the statues are. And that makes sense because I have kind of been to the other 3 corners before, but I seldom pass by this area, so I've never actually seen this. But it's called Threading the Needle. I feel like that's Karl Malone and John Stockton, but let me check the app just to confirm that that's what it is. Oh, the tougher part's going to be finding this stuff now, because I don't know what district they're treating this. This might be part of the central district. Well, I didn't see it in the... Oh, they still count it in the west. So yes, these lifelike bronze statues capture Utah jazz legends John Stockton and Karl Malone in action and are located on the southeast corner. I probably did read southeast corner. And the artist who commissioned these statues. My app keeps freezing. But it's Brian Chalice. Some of the places I pinpointed on my Google Maps, when I'm looking back at them now, I'm like, wait a minute, what mural is there? And then I look at the maps and I don't see anything. So I had something pinpointed at this block that is 1 block south of the Vivint Arena on John Stockton Drive. But if I don't see anything in plain sight, I'll just move on to the next location that I had jotted down. It could also always be a case of Google Maps not having the updated artwork. Maybe it's something like this too. Alright, we'll say that this is what it was. And this looks exactly like Atlas that we saw earlier. And SRIL Art, I'm pretty sure that's the same person who commissioned it. So maybe this is what I was going for down here. So I won't necessarily have a title for this one. But it looks like you've got almost like someone in a spacesuit of some kind on the right, with a light bulb on the left that's starting to like shatter and explode. Even something as subtle as this, I consider this artwork. We've got a nice wooden fence and the greenery, and also these arches that almost look like wheels and spokes as decorative pieces. There's some construction down there. I was originally going to go this way, but now I'm going to cross the street and proceed from there. A lot of the murals I was seeing in the map were from, various dining places. So you do have to look at the side of buildings in case there's a mural tucked away in an alley or something. Some type of food smells good down this way. that was the gateway on the right where we were earlier. But you can see up here, for example, right across from the gateway, some homeless camps. The next piece of art we're featuring is the Salt Lake City pepper. Let me try to get my... I'm doing a little bit less talking because just paying more attention to my surroundings. I know we're getting close to Pioneer Park, which is typically where you have the most concentrated homeless population in the downtown area. We're just checking Google Maps for where the next mural location is. This is the Rio Grande Depot up ahead. I think I'm going to go in the street because what I want to do is get to the backside of this building. But you can see maybe as we're going through here how this street just has homeless on both the left and right side. Again, not trying to feature that in particular. was a pretty cool artwork piece there on the right. So I did see online there's supposed to be a big mural that has kind of the Rio Grande as a backdrop, but since I don't see it here, it must be on a different street. If I can't find it in short order, I'll just turn around and start looking for other murals. I think I found the mural, but I am not going to stop where all these homeless camps are set up. So we're going to turn right back around. At least you get a nice perspective of the Rio Grande driving up to it from here. We're going to make a right turn and then continue left on the next major street. Yeah, it's sad to see just how much it was. I've seen the areas near Pioneer Park before, but I didn't know it quite extended that far, several streets to the west as well. We're supposed to have two murals coming up here. I believe we're on the southernmost corner of Pioneer Park, but the murals, I think, are restaurant related. we can make a right turn. So this next one is kind of blocked off again, but Bewilder Brewing Company. Yeah, it's too bad that it's shielded off. I don't know if we can get a closer look over here. They have it fenced off. Yeah, so the side of that Bewilder Brewing. Oh, and the other one, I'm glad that I turned around, because the other one, which was cooler looking. Sorry, not to say that that wasn't cooler looking, but just because it's covered up, you can't really get the full picture of it. But this next one is called Positively 4th Street by artist James Kirkland. It says, enjoy this group of 3 trick of the eye styled murals behind the Positively 4th Street music practice space. Okay, so like they said, it's a trick of the eye, but there's 3 different murals. I'll grab a couple pictures first, and then I'll take the camera off so you can see a better perspective. So first you can see over here there's like a little girl around the corner. And then there's another mural here embedded within it, like one playing an instrument, 2 other kids, and then a black cat. But then up here is where I like it the most. You've got the steps, which kind of fit in like you're going right in through a doorway up there, with other parts carved out. Yeah, but the whole thing's very eye-catching and unique. And you also have just a painting itself. Sorry, I didn't have the first-person view on, so there's a better perspective of it. So very well done. I'm going to go in the shade here for a second. I feel like my device is going to overheat because it's been in the sun for quite a bit now. I also need to check where to go next on our little scavenger hunt. So I have one pinpoint showing the north end of Pioneer Park. So we're at the intersection of 400 South and then traveling north on 400 West. I'm going to try to identify these intersections as I'm going through them if I remember. I know I've somewhat neglected to do that up until this point. This is actually the first time I've gone kind of close up to Pioneer Park. They have a big soccer field, a basketball court. Jungle gym, beach volleyball. To my surprise, there's not as many homeless tents set up as I thought there would be, but you can still see a presence. This is 300 South. We're traveling eastward on now. I think the thing that I'm looking for outside of Bingham's Cyclery is the beehive exhibit in the median. So you can see right in the median there's several kind of standing sculptures related to bees and beehives. I don't know the background of it necessarily. Oh, you know what? That's not what it was actually. That was a bonus thing. This is what I had seen on the map. It's this, The Little Piggy Went to the Market, Petunia by Chris Waddle, 2002. All right, so it checks that off the list. So it looks like sometimes this place here could be a market. There's also Gruger's Belgian Bistro. That sounds pretty good. Got even more pigs here on the left side. So for this next grouping, we're going to turn right at this crosswalk and then make a left. There's a mural called Especially for You. I believe it's outside of like a large flower place. It's just also, again, I've since we've happened to stumble into the homelessness situation, and I've always mentioned Pioneer Park. It's like Pioneer Park eastward is where you see it, but then there's a cutoff. Like, look at this area, and some of the areas we've been passing by, like the border is going eastward, south, and north. You almost don't see any presence. Now, granted, there are other pockets, but not the huge gathering in comparison. I'll just wait here for a second. Meanwhile, maybe I'll get an advanced reading. So the Especially for You is supposed to be a large-scale mural in celebration of flowers that was created in 2018 and 2019 for the flower shop Especially for You. There's also car murals located on it too, so we'll see that in a second. Especially for You exhibits on the other side of the street. The only reason I was making that curve at first because this intersection is like blocked off. We'll see. Hopefully we get an opportunity to get a walk sign here, and that it's not forcing you to press the button in order to cross. Well, that looks to be the case right now. Here's what we'll do. We'll ride down to the next intersection and then loop around. I don't know if I want to deal with crossing the big intersection. Should I? If I can time this button press up, I'll do it. So there's more of the mural down that way, but it's congested with traffic. Probably the best view you're going to get is right over here. I know unfortunately the sun glare is right there. Yeah, this is the worst time of day for this building because the sun glare is in front of us. Excuse me.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, you too. Looks to be a bit of construction going on this street, which is a shame because this street, the very first time I came to Salt Lake, had the dedicated protected bike lanes, as you can see from the curb lanes here. They are still functional, it looks like up ahead, but all this construction is preventing them from being fully used. A couple of the murals are across the street that we're going to go peek at. But there's one up ahead here. We're back at 300 South. This is the street earlier that had that beehive median. So you can see 300 South also has protected bike lanes on it. So this next one is located at Settebello Pizzeria, and the artwork itself is called Settebello 2. Created by Gary Swanson, depicts the wood oven-fired pizzas offered at Settebello. So I like how, I mean, the caricature is cool too, but the stone, pizza stone, actually goes into the ground. Like, you can almost get the 3D scooping effect. I've never been here to actually eat, but I've always heard it. This is like the place, like highest rated place for pizza in Salt Lake City. Let me make sure I got my tilt locked mode back on. Okay. Now we're finally starting to work our way to the inner part of downtown Salt Lake City. I know it took us a while. It's one thing to see the location of the murals on the app and like where they're located on the map, but it's another thing to navigate in real time and try to find these places. Now, if I had done this ahead of time, it probably would be much smoother. Like, oh, I would be hitting them left and right, and hopefully it's still enjoyable for anyone watching. This one on the right here is supposed to be representative of the Utah Jazz. There's a couple murals related to the Utah Jazz, but this one, artist is Karabo Poppy Molstain, South African artist, located on the side of Walter's Osteria, a restaurant frequented by Utah Jazz players. She was commissioned by the Jazz to paint the mural in the summer of 2018. So that's interesting that the Utah Jazz actually commissioned her to paint it. Is this restaurant open still? Yeah, it is. There's a person working inside. Now I've got several things located on my map all in the same vicinity. I believe 2 of them are located on this side of the street. Some kind of looks like maple leaf bike racks here on the left. Squatters sounds familiar. I wonder if there's an artwork on the side of this building. Yep. Let me see if I can find the official labeling of it. Squatters. This mural includes elements of the brewing process as well as a portrait of Squatters brewmeister Jason. The art on this wall occasionally changes, so make sure to check out for new additions. This is one you can't, if I zoom out I can get it all in one picture. So I assume that's Jason. And then the process of brewing. Try to get over this ledge here. And then Lady Liberty and my brown-eyed gull. That edition, I believe, was for Squatter's 30th anniversary. I see Gracie's restaurant and bar over there. Gracie's was listed as one of the mural spots. I don't remember it being this. I believe there's actually an exhibit on Gracie's. Yeah, I think it's this part here. Looks like that's the extent of it. Okay, we're gonna go up to 200 South Street next. There's supposed to be a statue called Counterpoint, or there might be a couple of statues with like a woman swinging a boy or something to that effect. I believe it's going to be on the other side of the street. I don't see a button, so should be able to time this up here. I debated to myself whether I should have, just like when I did this video, maybe gone up to each, like not filmed the journey up to each artwork, but just done a montage, like film an artwork, stop recording until I get to the next one, then film. But I was like, I decided to go with the approach of us trying to find everything together. I don't know if it's on the, oh no, I just see it. So it's on the south side of 200 South. Like I said, it's these two statues here. One is of a child on top of a guy's back, and then the other one is a woman swinging a little girl around. And collectively, the statues are called Counterpoint. Sculpture by Dennis Smith. Next, we're going to look at Point of View, which is an installation of 150 road signs by artist Aaron Stephen, located outside the Salt Palace Convention Center. The road signs feature antonyms like reap and sow, wide and narrow, and the area has become a popular place for tourists and visitors to take photographs. My very first time ever in Salt Lake was to go to the Salt Palace Convention Center. And this hotel that you see here on the left did not exist or was not even under construction. That was back in 2018. Flash forward 4 years later, it is, I don't know if I want to call it fully complete, but it looks like it's, like the exterior is fully complete. Interior looks like they're still working on it, so I don't believe the hotel itself has actually opened. Although I could be wrong on that. Boy, the skies look so sunlit and bright. I wonder if the rain forecast chances like disappeared. Because originally, like 2 hours from now, there was forecast to be rain and possible storms. I'll have to check that because we are a little bit afternoon here. So this part on the left is the Salt Palace Convention Center. You've got some windmills up above. And then right in front of these stairs are where you're going to have that artwork with all the road signs. So yeah, he was right about the antonyms. I never noticed that, or I've never actually taken time to read it, but cloudy, clear, sublime, ridiculous, step, stop, oil, water, boom, bust, wake or sleep, sow and reap, and so on. And then this red dot kind of forms like, if you were at more of a distance, you could read it better where it says you are here. Actually, it does show up good on the camera. But it's kind of a perspective thing. But yeah, like you said, when tourists come here, you know, many times they will be coming for the convention center. As well. So a popular picture spot.
They're so deep, aren't they?
Uh-huh. Some guy was walking by and said, "They're so deep, aren't they?" regarding the sayings. They have a bench here where you could also pose for a photograph. I'm going to go ahead and take a couple pictures here. You also have a nice view down 100 South Street with the mountains far in the distance. Alright, got my pictures. Now over here, past the convention center, is the Utah Museum of Contemporary Art. I've seen, obviously there's going to be contemporary art inside. Outside, I've seen some things featured on poles on the street before, but there's supposedly some type of unique beam or pole. My short-term memory is often pretty bad because I literally just looked up the title of the pole prior to starting the video and it's like, I already forgot what it was. Alright, but I think it's that pole that's down there beneath the steps. I'm not going to go all the way down there. That doesn't really stand out as something I would normally feature, but let me read what the significance of that is. Sorry, I had my Zoom wasn't working, so I was resetting that. This is called Column 24. Artist Ilya Bolotowski was a passionate leader in American abstraction and other abstract art movements. Alright, simple enough, I guess. Alright, let's get back on the road here. We're going to backtrack one intersection. Couple of the next ones that we're hitting are going to be a mural featuring the history of the Utah Jazz, so another one commissioned by the Jazz. And then also a hidden book mural. So the history of the Utah Jazz Mural is supposed to be located on the side wall of the Zions Bank building. Not sure the best way to access it. I mean, I can visibly see it from here. I don't know if you can access it from Main Street, so I'll just walk. It's intentionally not fully colored in. I think it would look even like so much cooler if the whole thing was colored in, but nonetheless, still fun to see history of the Utah Jazz. Godzilla, Pistol Pete. Gotta love it, baby. Must be one of their announcers. 1993 All-Star Game must have been here. A nice little bit of history. And there was an exit over here on the main street. So we'll ride through that now.
That's something I didn't know.
Yes, que
Now, where is this hidden book mural? Somewhere there's like an alleyway you can cut down. It'll be on the right side. Might be past this intersection. Might be to the right over here. I'm not sure, but let's check. I know it was like a very skinny alley. Yep, there it is. So the artist for this is unknown, which is crazy. You'd think someone would have been able to do this and not have it known. Oh, my apologies. I think I was just zoomed in for a good portion of that bike ride leading up to here from the history of the jazz thing. We've got Red Water, The Blessing Way, On the Road, The Grapes of Wrath, The Giant Joshua, Refuge, The Invention of Solitude, Howl, Jude the Obscured, The Scarlet Letter, Steppenwolf, Brave New World, Ulysses, Gone with the Wind, Animal Farm, Gravity's Rainbow, Roughing It, The Wizard of Oz, Winnie the Pooh, Harry Potter, The Cat in the Hat, A Gentle... what does that say? A Gentle Madness, Silence, Living My Life. And then strangely enough, Living My Life is duplicated behind the pillar. And there's also Mouse, I can't read it quite, and something else off the wall. I wonder why Living My Life is painted twice. I almost think like maybe like started too much in a different direction. But yeah, that's a pretty cool mural. See, even a safe part like this, I just kind of darted out of there because all of a sudden some guy came around the corner looking suspicious and popped open like the cigarette butt can and was like digging through it for something. Who knows? And that's why Kate's getting up this because he was like, yeah, I didn't know this profile that was on your Next, we're going to go over to Gallivan Center. We're supposed to have kind of a sculpture called Asteroid Landing Softly. I don't know where in Gallivan Center it's located because the map shows 200 South, which is actually the street up here. So let me see if there's a plaza to get in there from the right side here. I can see the sky sort of turning a little bit darker blue in some spots, but when I looked at the weather forecast, now it shows 4 o'clock as the potential rain threat. Trying to look through the trees here. Maybe that's the asteroid. Yep. So that's sculpture right in front of you. Captures elements of southern Utah's landscape. And it's also a sundial on the ground. We're going to stay on 200 South Street because I believe that's when we're actually starting to get into the eastern portion. And here's something I didn't see on the map. Looks like a lot of children's artwork. Wildlife wall. That's pretty creative. See, sometimes the things you don't expect end up being some of the coolest looking. Wonder how they chiseled that into the wall like that to include the colors as well. Getting the exhaust from this vehicle. So here's one of the murals on Edison Street. I'm going to loop back here. First I'm going to go past Edison Street. There's some artwork outside of Gallison's. Oh, see, when I'm angled this direction, you can see how the sky is illuminated. this one's not Campbell's Coffee. I think Campbell's Coffee's further down. What is this one called? I don't know if this one's even featured, but we'll take a look at it nonetheless. On the left there, you also have some cool artwork outside of the tattoo and barber shop. I think this one up here is outside of Campbell's Coffee.
Yeah, as long as it's not cooling.
Thinking Box Salt Lake City is supposed to have a mural, which is I believe one of these next places on the right. Some of it's been graffitied over, but it's promoting Edison and Broadway. Next we're going to go back down State Street briefly. I don't know if you can tell, but in the center of the street there, they do have these cool little sculptures. Some of these bike racks are creative too. Like look at these ones with almost like an eyeball. This is the intersection of State Street and 300 South. some scaffolding here. So we just passed Pie Hole, but then I believe on the side of this wall here is where some of this artwork is located, by the tattoo shop. Lost Art by various artists. Lost Art is the title of it. I've seen this one before, and I've wondered in the past, like, were the colors more vibrant in the past when it was first done, or is this always like how the general colors of it would have looked? Snag one picture of that. Now we're approaching 400 South, otherwise known as University Boulevard. Let's see how patient this car is up here. It's waiting for me, so that's good. We're looking to go to the public safety building. There's supposed to be a sculpture with two very large hands. With this car zipping through, just made it on a yellow light. Here's Washington Square. It's also a park between the hours of 5 a.m. and 11 p.m. I believe the city and or county buildings are here. When I did my video back in July, there was like a Native American sculpture over here on the left. Yeah, I saw City Hall there on the right. Here's the Native American statue I was referencing. For some reason, this picture, well, I can explain the reason. It's because of all the nice trees in the background in the building. Let's say that's like one of the most picturesque snapshots you can get. So it says the east entrance is where you enter, and when I entered the library in the past, I would go in here. Must be some type of construction taking place. In one of my Farmington videos, I mentioned about the orange flags that you can take as you cross the street. Right here is another one of those examples where you can press the crosswalk button, but if you want to, you can grab a flag and make yourself more visible as you go to the other side. This is 500 south, turning off of 200 east. And what do we have here? Can't tell if this is a homeless cart. I think it is, several of them. Hopefully I can squeeze by. Little area here that's a celebration of life. And I see several small statues. This is on the back end of the library. Reminds me of the statues we saw earlier of the woman swinging the girl. Looks like this would normally be a fountain, but the fountain's not active right now. You can see two book readers, bicyclists. Celebration of Life monument made possible through generous financial contributions. Okay. And I think the public safety exhibit is at the next intersection. Where exactly it's at, I'll have to explore a second. That sky looks pretty dark blue. Hopefully we don't get poured on here. So the hand statue is supposed to be called Serve and Protect. But I think this is a different one that I'm seeing over here. Yeah, this is Wave Harmonics, interactive water feature inspired by nature's semantics where all things vibrate in their own natural harmonics. So I'm not going to go up to it because there's people like homeless gathered around the area. Hopefully my camera caught it as I swung by. But here's where the hands exhibit is. From the picture I thought the hands were going to be much larger. Serve and Protect. Demonstrates the sign language to serve. The same graceful hands which serve us are also hands strong enough to protect and care for us. The artist is Greg Ragland. Sometimes the backdrop is everything because the green grass, at least for the picture, made it all the more better. Let me see how it looks from the other perspective. Headed west. Please use caution. This metal sculpture may become hot. There are a few more headed north, but I think what I'm going to do is keep going on 500 south until I get to the Gilgan Sculpture Garden. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to conclude the video at the entrance to the Sculpture Garden so that I can start a new video, because I think that one's worth doing its own video on. But we'll showcase the journey to get there because it is definitely some fun artwork. I actually did a short YouTube video on it last month, but I'm going to do another video now that's just a full walkthrough of it. Back to 500 south, and we are going to turn left. I think it's like 4 blocks away from here. when you try Googling like hidden gems in certain cities, if you had to talk about a hidden gem that's like something you could do quickly, but it's still very, very unique, this Gilgan Garden sculpture is like the epitome of that. So this is still 500 South, and now crossing with, where's the street sign? I think I have to look behind me as I cross here. Well, 500 South and 500 East. We're on the back side of a Smith's Marketplace grocery store. Now I'm doubting myself. Did I pass it up? Or maybe it's on a different street. No, I didn't pass it up yet. It's about 1.5 blocks away. Just got a little confused because I saw Trolley Square. And in my mind, I thought Gilgan Garden was east of Trolley Square, but it's not. There's the trolley square I was referencing. That's been in several of my videos. And in the Trader Joe's I love going to is like the next block to the left and in the shopping plaza that's over there. So Gilgan Garden is just on this next block. I'm going to catch a little bit of this sprinkler system on my hands. Oh yeah. Even though it's not super hot now, the sun is down. Still feels good. And then here we are at Gilgan. There are leaf blowing inside, so when I do my next video, I think that'll be heard a little bit, but that's all right. So if you enjoyed this art tour in downtown Salt Lake City, I know it was a bit like scatterbrained, like I was going every which way, but hopefully it was still a little bit enjoyable. At the very least, I got some nice pictures. But if you enjoyed any of that or all of it, feel free to hit the like button, give us a subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to point out any artwork things that we may have missed, because people who are, more familiar with the area will surely know, like, what's the coolest thing to look at. But I'm going to do a separate video on Gilgal Garden Sculpture, which is really cool, and that'll be a short video, probably be like 5 to 10 minutes, so be sure to check that one out too, and we will see you next time.